Hi everybody, it's Leandra from PaperArtsy and it's time for another one of our blog topic videos. We're up to topic 5 of 2015 and topic 5 is going to be all about deconstruction. Well, perhaps not just deconstruction, it might also be reconstruction or repurposing, recycling, that kind of idea. So I think it's going to be a little bit trickier to think about than previous topics. You have to sort of delve a little bit deeper, but I'm going to give you some ideas and there'll be lots more ideas on the blog over the next 2 weeks. Topic 5 runs from March 8th through to March 22nd, so you've got 2 weeks to explore this whole concept and perhaps share something that you've made with your ideas on our blog. So for example, reconstruction here, these are what comes to mind for me originally when I was thinking of this topic is where you use items that were designed for one thing in a completely different way. So if you take these spools, they were always used for things like cotton reels or wire, storing items like that, perhaps what do you call it, like embroidery threads, things like that, and we tend to use them a lot as flower pots. So on this little sample here, it's been painted and tickled with treasure gold, and this is a slightly larger version here, a much bigger spool, and it's been used and covered with washi tape. This is a sample that Lynn Brown did. She's also, this would fit into deconstruction as well, corrugated card. We often use that as a substrate or die cut it or use it in all kinds of different ways. So that's another product that was designed to be used as a box, and we've adapted that and we regularly use corrugated card as a substrate. So moving along, here we've got grey board, and grey board comes in all kinds of sizes. This is our 4x4. It's white on one side and grey on the other. You get 4 sheets in a pack, all kinds of sizes, like I say, 8x8. This one here is more 5x7, and they're really good because you can actually glue them together and construct boxes. So for example, you could make a smaller box, glue 4 sides together and decorate it like this, where you've perhaps stenciled some texture paste, painted it, and then added treasure gold to it. So you could make a completely different item using grey board as a construction material. Here's another example, one of Darcy's samples, where she's used little brown coin envelopes and she's actually turned them into the feature for her new stamps on this particular sample here. So there's, you know, lots of take an envelope and do something completely different with it. So let's just take a quick look at other types of ideas that you could use or products. Tubes are a great one. We saw Helen Chilton last week on the blog do an amazing thing using tubes. And again here, this was a large tube. I've just cut it up into different sizes, and that's just begging to be repurposed somehow, decorated, painted, etc. Corrugated card comes in all kinds of corrugations and thicknesses and what have you. This one might be a bit harder to see, but it's really amazing, the type of corrugation. The more normal stuff here, this is just this is double, but you can get single corrugation, triple, and by ripping off the layers it creates all kinds of new textures. So you start looking at cardboard in a whole different way. This was an interesting idea on Pinterest using altered books. There's a whole load of examples on there where they've turned a book cover like this into a handbag, or they might turn it into a phone cover, or all sorts of other things. So, you know, using old-fashioned books which have got the vintage cloth covers is a really good way to start with something to repurpose. Bottles is another thing on Pinterest, just regular beer bottles. There's a great technique at the moment where they're wrapping twine around it, covering the twine with some kind of solvent, lighting it, the glass cracks, and you can turn your bottles into tumblers or vases or light fittings to put bulbs in. All kinds of crazy ideas for repurposing bottles on Pinterest. It's the same with tins. You know, there's all kinds of tins out there that are really cool. Coffee tins, sweets tins, sardine tins, you've got your Altoid tins, all those kinds of things are fantastic. And don't forget your humble things that you might find in the fridge or in the, you know, packaging that we get with all sorts of products these days. So you've got, you know, little plastic containers, and also this was in the bottom. It's used to suck up moisture from, I think there was strawberries or something in there, but just the bubbles and things like that can be used all kinds of ways as well. So that's the topic. It's only a quick video this week because it's so broad and there's a zillion ways you can go with it, but I hope you take some time in the next 2 weeks to think about how you could repurpose items. We might even go into things like destroying, rusting. You could look at things like ripping and tearing papers, reconstructing clothing. There's all kinds of things you could do with clothing. And then you've got things like destructive effects that we've done in the past, like peeled paint or crackled paint, torn papers and aging items. There's so much to do with furniture these days, dry brushing, gilding, lots and lots of ideas. So I hope you have some fun over the next 2 weeks, taking time to think about deconstruction, repurposing, recycling, and let's get deliberately destructive together. We'll see you in a couple of weeks again.